All right, it's time to get geared up on GeekWire. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
All right, we got a great show coming up. We're going to be talking about the Google Assistant coming to the iPhone, plus the Google Home expanding its capabilities. And it's war with Amazon at this point.
It's war with everybody. I mean, all of these virtual assistants are at war with each other.
That's right. And if you're listening on the podcast, we're going to be having some discussions and a first glimpse of possibly what could be the iPhone 8.
Right, if that's what they're calling it. But yes, there's a leak. A leak has taken place. We don't know if it's true or not, but it's a very interesting look at what could be coming in September.
Plus, Andrew has brought in what I think is about to become my favorite gadget.
I hope so.
The Fidget Spinner, which is, I know, in very high demand, very popular with the kids these days.
I don't get it, but here it is.
Okay, all right. So all that and more coming up this week on Geared Up on GeekWire. Let's jump right into it.
What's the first topic?
First off, by the way, if you are listening on the radio or the podcast, don't forget the best way to follow us is to go to geekwire.com/gearedup.
Right.
There you can find links to iTunes and also to Andrew's YouTube channel, youtube.com/gearlive, which is the best place to follow the live stream. Every week we go live and you can get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the show as we record it. And Andrew responds to your questions during the breaks.
That's right. Not only during the breaks, but actually after the show. If you watch later and you leave a comment, I'm still paying attention and I'm answering you.
All right, so let's talk about our first topic, and that is the Google Assistant coming to the iPhone.
Yeah.
So this was
yesterday.
Part of a much broader push by Google to really expand the footprint of its voice assistant.
Right.
And this is a fascinating area right now because you got Cortana, you got Alexa, you got Siri.
Bixby.
That's right. Bixby.
Shout out to Bixby.
I always forget Bixby, the Samsung.
Don't forget Bixby.
Are you liking Bixby, by the way?
It's okay. Well, here's the crazy thing about Bixby. I just got a refrigerator, a new fridge. It's like a $5,000 fridge. It's crazy. It has an 18.5-inch display along one of the doors.
That's bigger than some TVs I've had.
I know. 18.5-inch display that runs Samsung's OS Tizen and has Bixby built in.
So I want to talk about this later because I want to know what in the heck you would ask a refrigerator to do for you.
Okay, good.
But let's talk about the Google Assistant.
Okay.
One of the big pieces of news coming out of Google I/O, their developer conference in Mountain View, California, was the expansion of the Assistant to the iPhone. I've got it running here on my iPhone, and I'll get it queued up in the background as we talk here.
Let's take a look at this guy.
What was the significance of this? That Google's expanding the Assistant beyond the home device and beyond Android devices to the iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big thing, is it's coming to the iPhone. And the cool thing about it is really that the Google Assistant is so much better than Siri.
Okay, that's interesting because I've got, as we know, I've got a love-hate relationship with Siri. In what ways?
Wait, first of all, where's the love part? Because I don't remember any of the love part.
It's mostly hate. It's almost entirely
Siri.
hate. So in what ways is the Google Assistant better than Siri on the iPhone, or just in general?
Well, the thing is, it's difficult to get used to talking to, your phone, or for lack, just these virtual. It's not a real person. So at least I'm assuming people our age, we think we have to craft our sentences a certain way to get it to understand us. We're talking to a machine, and I think for kids, let's just say people being born today, when they're of the age to get their own cell phone, I think they're going to just be able to just talk naturally like they would talk to anyone else and have their phones understand them. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So Siri is more of the kind of one where you have to think about what you want it to do, say it, and when it fails, you have to figure, okay, why did that fail? How do I rephrase that? So one example I actually gave someone yesterday was, I can't ask Siri, is it going to rain or snow tomorrow? Like,
you have to ask, what's the weather?
I have to say, is it going to rain tomorrow? Yes or no? Or what's the weather?
I got you.
Or, okay, yes or no. Okay, is it going to snow tomorrow? Yes or no?
Well, let's test that.
And I can't say, is there going to be precipitation tomorrow, because she doesn't understand that. Google, I can say, is it going to rain or snow tomorrow? And it'll tell me. It'll answer for both. It's not going to rain, but it'll snow. Like, it'll know what I mean. So it's little things like that. But to take it further, since a lot of them all do the same stuff, like what's the weather tomorrow, or set this appointment, or turn off the lights, it'll do smart home stuff. Google now, you can order, like, hey, I want to order lunch from Panera. Okay, what do you want to order? And it'll show up on the screen. Here's stuff you can order. I want that sandwich. Okay, do you want a drink? It'll show you drinks. I want that drink. Complete my order.
This is way better than the weather. I want to do this right now. Let's get some food. Let's get some food delivered.
Order some food. This is going to be crazy.
Order some food from Panera.
Here's what I found on the web.
Wait, no, that's our food policy. Okay, because it says crazy. I don't know why the word crazy. Do it again.
All right, do it. Order some food from Panera.
Here's what I found on the web.
So, okay,
no, why
Andrew,
is it not happening?
Okay,
They
we're gonna have to
showed it
revisit
yesterday.
this. Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
We're gonna check this on the break.
Order some food.
See, I keep interrupting you. But they showed it yesterday, and well, you don't have like your credit card and stuff built in.
Okay,
but so the cool thing about
you have to set it up first.
right, you
I'll
set
bet.
it up.
You probably have to have the Panera. Do you have to have the Panera app
I don't
on
think
there?
you do.
Okay.
See, that's the thing is you don't even need. Google knows your address. Google knows your home and work address. Google has your payment method built, so you put all that in there, and then you say you want to order something. You don't even have to have an account. Google knows all that stuff, and it sends it to Panera, and you just get an order delivered to you. Now, it'd be cool if we can order it, and then it arrives before the end of the show, but I don't know if that's happening.
Okay, so let me do this.
Siri can't do it, though.
What can you do?
There are lots of things I can help you with. For example, you can say things like, "What's the weather?" or "What's the weather in Paris?" To see more, just swipe the options on your screen.
So the options include play some music, play some jazz, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Right, play a game.
Very effective with the kids, by the way. You set a timer, and then the authority is the smartphone. Oh, 2 minutes are up. 2 minutes are up. Games, sports. Tell me sports. Will the Mariners win the World Series this year? Search results. This is my problem with these things.
Well, you just asked it a question that it doesn't know the answer to.
Okay.
How would it know that?
Did the Mariners win last night?
Yes, the Mariners won 4-0 yesterday against the...
There you go.
We're testing the limits of technology
Right,
here.
right.
Okay, so that is Google Assistant on the iPhone. It's essentially a long scrolling chat. I mean, that's basically what you get.
Yes.
You scroll up to see all your history.
Another thing you can do with this, though, that you can't do with Siri currently, is chat, by the way. So if you are in a public place and you feel silly talking to your phone, you can bring up this little keyboard right here, and you can just type to the assistant.
Okay.
So you can ask it the same question, and it'll respond to you silently. So it'll just have a text conversation with you. Siri doesn't do that. I don't know why. Come on, Siri.
So this is part of a broader push by all of these companies to get their virtual assistants everywhere. You've
That's
seen
right.
Amazon expand Alexa into the Amazon app on the iPhone. Microsoft, with the announcement of the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update last week, they're expanding Cortana onto, it's already on iOS and Android, but with that update, it's going to have this feature called Timeline, where you're going to be able to track all of your activity across all of your devices if you're using this Windows 10 update.
Okay.
So this is a big push by all these companies.
Yes.
And Google also this week announced some new capabilities for the Google Home,
Yeah.
which is their competitor to the Echo.
Yes, they did. There's a bunch of new stuff coming. None of it is like groundbreaking. Maybe the biggest one is the free phone calls to any line in North America and Canada. So you can ask your Google Home, "Hey, Google, call mom," and it'll just call her phone number. She doesn't need a Google Home, which is better than the Amazon Echo version where both people need the Echo in order to make that phone call connection. Your Google Home will call any phone number, which is really nice.
So
free.
I actually have I have a lot more to talk about on this topic, and we're not going to be able to fit it into this segment.
All right.
But
Next
Amazon came out with some similar features recently, as you're alluding to, the Alexa voice calling, and there are some issues with it. And I think that there's some competitive jockeying going on that we saw unfold just over the past week.
There's a lot to talk about here. We have 15 seconds, though.
All right.
We got to get to break.
All right, so we're going to take a break. You are listening to GeekWire, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You are listening to Geared Up on GeekWire. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andru Edwards.
All right, we were just talking about the new Google Assistant on iPhone. This was part of a series of announcements this past week by Google, sort of spreading its artificial intelligence through a variety of devices. One of the new things that they announced was some new features for Google Home, which is their competitor to the Amazon Echo.
That's right.
I found it fascinating because a week prior to Google's announcements,
Yep.
Amazon came out with a flurry of announcements for the Echo, two of which were, one, voice calling for Alexa, and two, notifications, the idea that you're going to be able to get sort of proactive notifications on your Echo device. Lo and behold, that's exactly what Google announced for the home device. Now, here's my theory. I think Amazon's rollout was a little bit half-baked. for a couple of reasons. The Alexa voice calling does not allow you to block
Not at all.
callers.
You can just stalk anybody.
If they're in your contacts
That's
and
right.
you both have echoes or you both are enabling it in the Alexa app, they can call you.
Anytime.
And so Amazon said, "Oh, well, yeah, we're going to be coming out with call blocking in a couple weeks, or
Right.
and it's on the way." It was very vague.
Yeah.
And so that to me was a sign that they rushed it out. I think they knew that Google I/O was coming up, obviously, and then rushed it out to try and compete.
I think you're right. And they only have echo to echo calling.
That's right.
Which is not anywhere near as good as using a Google Home to just call any number.
Gotcha. So
I mean, that's
your
great.
point. That's your point. You can
Yeah,
call.
you call any number. You can call your cell phone. Like Echo, you have to be home. You both have to be home near your Echoes. With Google Home, only one person needs to be home. The other person can be anywhere. Just call your cell phone.
We should test this. Do you have a Google Home?
I do.
Because we tested it on the Alexa. We tested echo to echo calling.
Okay.
Not very good.
Not great.
No, the quality was not the voice, like we called Frank Catalano, one of our collaborators and
Right.
contributors, and it kept cutting out.
Well, the thing with this is, and I don't know if this is how it works, but Google owns Google Voice,
Right.
which is a telephone service.
Right.
So Google Home is probably connecting into Google Voice and then having a real phone conversation rather than going through Amazon servers, echo to echo, VoIP or whatever. Who knows what they're doing over there. But notifications also for the Google Home. The other thing is it can stream to multiple devices in your home. So if you have a Google Home and a Google Cast enabled smart TV, which a lot of smart TVs are these days, you can say, "Hey Google, play Andrew Edwards' latest videos in the living room TV," and it'll just
and who
pull
wouldn't
them
want to
up.
do that?
Exactly. Everybody's doing that these days, but you can't do that with your Echo. So Google is really more about controlling, more devices and like controlling experiences and streaming and things like that, where the Echo doesn't seem to be doing those kinds of things. And the Echo now seems to be more like Amazon wants the word Echo or whatever to be more about getting, Amazon's like communicating with people with the Echo Show, which we'll talk about later, or Look or whatever. I don't even wouldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But the other one where like you take, "Hey, how's my outfit?" Like Google's not trying to tell you how your outfit is and trying to sell you something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's two different ways that they're approaching this.
So that was the Echo Look. The other
Echo
one that
Look.
you just alluded to was the Echo Show, which
Right.
is the new $230 flat screen or display enabled.
Was that next?
Echo. Yeah, that's
That
right,
was a great
right up there.
segue.
Good segue. So this was announced. This is essentially bringing a display to the Echo lineup, and it's a small device. It looks like kind of like a little security monitor that you would have.
We didn't talk about this yet. So
Yeah,
when they announced this, what did you think? Were you excited about this?
I bought two of them.
You bought two. So you never buy new stuff. We know this.
There was, what got me? If you bought two, you got a $100 discount.
Okay.
I don't know
So
why. I felt like, and you had been lecturing me, like, Todd, this is what you do when something new comes out. You buy one for yourself, and you buy one to give away.
There you go.
So I'm listening to you.
Is that what
finally.
you did?
That's what I did.
Oh, okay. See, that's cool. So when you saw it, though, like, I don't know. When I look at this, like you said, it looks like the security. It looks so like
Primitive. It looks very Windows XP.
it. Yes.
That was
it
my
does,
first thought, actually.
But it doesn't look sleek.
No, it looks a little clunky,
Yeah. And I wonder if that's on purpose.
possibly.
Like they want it to fit they don't want it to stand out like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Right.
More like, "Hey, this is just a thing. Grandma can have one. You can have one. Doesn't matter." It's like a phone.
Yeah. So this will also have voice calling, Alexa voice calling. And this was actually made in conjunction, this announcement was made in conjunction with that announcement of Alexa voice
Right.
calling.
But also video calling.
Yes.
And you can just drop in on people.
Yep.
You don't want this in the bedroom.
That's right.
Like, what?
That's right. Well, this isn't coming
Hey.
out for a few weeks still. So, I mean, it's on pre-order
I'm
right
just
now.
saying, like,
That's a good point.
you can just drop in.
They better fix that and get you call blocking
Yes,
before
I
this
need
thing actually hits
blocking,
the market.
And I need
my
to
God.
be able to say, I want to answer the phone. Don't just drop, "Hey, what's up?"
Well, if somebody calls in, you can say don't pick up.
Okay, good. Good.
But still.
But they had that thing. Well, no, so they have this thing called drop in, though, which I don't know if you recall this feature, but it's like it enables, like it doesn't ring. It just like turns on your thing. So
I wasn't aware of this. Okay.
I think it gives like a blurred interface or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So you're like, what's happening? So like, grandma's in the kitchen cooking and like someone's dropping on grandma. She's like, "Oh, hey, there's your school project." Great. Which is cool. but just have to context for where you're putting this.
Yes, exactly. Be careful. Be careful with
careful out there
with the Echo Show.
That's
and
right.
the Echo Look is the one that will basically allow you to do head to toe shots that you then share
Right.
and get feedback from your social network.
Now, you bought
or
two
from
of those.
Amazon. No, I did not. I
didn't buy
didn't get any of those. Hey, look at me. Do I look like I'm going to buy one of those?
I don't know. Or maybe that's why you need one.
Right.
I don't know.
I need help. All right, so that's a big rundown of what's happening in the home smart speaker and the virtual
Smart assistants,
smart assistants market. All right, let's move on because there was an interesting piece of news this past week.
Oh, man.
The iPhone 8. Tell us about this leak. I know nothing about this leak.
That's not the picture of the leak.
Okay.
Just FYI. But that is a picture, a render based on what is believed to be leaked schematics.
Got it.
Now, earlier this week, I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before, pictures came out of what looked like a dummy model based on those same schematics. So this isn't a real device. This is someone like designing it on a computer.
So based on the leak schematics, but what did we learn?
Right.
What did we learn about the iPhone 8 through these various
What
leaks?
we learned, well, the next step in seeing these leaks is going from seeing them on screen like this to actually seeing someone create something physical. So that's what happened in the latest one. And again, it's purported that these are the schematics. So what we saw is that the iPhone 8, if true, will have glass on front and glass on back, which we haven't seen since the iPhone 4S, full glass on the back. And then both sides of glass will be surrounded by a stainless steel band. So a shiny, not the matte finished steel, but like actually stainless shiny steel band around the side. So almost like an elongated and stretched out Apple Watch.
Huh.
So very interesting. And then as you can see here, the camera module is vertical. And people have been complaining about that a lot. Like they think it looks ugly. Like it actually I don't see why it makes a big deal. So here's my iPhone 7 Plus. I've got the two cameras going, horizontally. So they're going to be vertical. And people are like, that looks so ugly. Why would they do that? Which is weird because when you go like this, now they're, like.
Which is how more and more people are holding
right,
the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? But the reason they would want it to be that way by default is that when you turn it this way, then it'll look like this.
Yes.
So
when
for people
when you turn it
listening-
horizontal, it essentially moves it into the orientation that you have now when it's vertical.
Right. And then when you put it on in a virtual reality headset, it's looking, the proper way.
Gotcha.
So that's what this is all about.
Do you think it's about VR?
I think it's about VR and AR.
So
I think when you're holding the phone sideways, it needs to have the camera in the proper orientation in order to basically the camera becomes the phone's pair of eyes.
Gotcha.
And the phone needs it in that orientation in order to perform better.
So what is Apple going to be coming out with in terms of AR, VR? Do we know?
See, now we're getting into speculation.
Pure
because
speculation.
All we can do with the schematics is see the size and shape of the hardware. We don't know what all that means in terms of software. And there's been no software leak. I think we're going to see a heavy push into VR and AR with the next iPhone, mostly because, number one, Samsung and other Android devices, Google Pixel, etc., they've been doing this for at least 2 or 3 years, where the iPhone hasn't even been in that conversation at all.
You have the option, and in some cases, you can get it for free with its own headset.
So it's time. And the other thing, quite honestly, is where else do you go? Like, I'm not at one of these companies like coming up with the new features, but a lot of times when I hold like an iPhone, I'm like, what else can you do? Like everything on it is so good, and it's not just the iPhone, it's a lot of phones. So it's really the display, which from what we saw with the leak is the display is going to be covering the entire face of the phone, which we've heard before and we've talked about before, and I think that's going to be a very nice change. But also the camera tech. Now the other thing, if it's true that these cameras are both going to be used for things like VR and AR, that would imply to me that both cameras have equal capabilities, which right now they do not. So you have one camera that's your main camera on the back, and then the other camera is the one that kind of zooms in, but the zoom in camera isn't as good of a camera module as the main camera. But if you're doing something with AR or VR and these cameras become the eyes basically for the phone, they need to have similar capabilities. So it would be cool to see that secondary camera get the same quality as the main one. But other than that, I mean, everything else is speculation.
Okay. Do we know when this is coming out?
It's going to come in. I'm almost positive it's going to come in September because it's been that way like clockwork for many years.
Okay.
So this fall, WWDC, though, is just about 2 weeks away. So we're definitely going to get a look at iOS 11 and the next version of Mac OS and, other surprises. People are speculating we're going to see 3 new laptops announced there as well. I'm still waiting for desktops, by the way.
Yeah.
What's going on, Apple?
By the way, I've got a whole laptop story to tell you. Now's not the time, but I'm
You've got a lot of stuff to tell me that we got to talk about off air. This is crazy.
That's right.
People need to know, though.
No, so my laptop crashed this past week. Could not get it to boot.
Oh, no.
Fortunately, though, I'm a religious time machine user.
That's good.
So, but I could not find the restore point where it would come back.
Wow.
And so finally, I went to the Apple store. I was about to get a new MacBook Pro. A new MacBook
With the touch
Pro
bar?
I was going to get the one without the touch bar. Like the 13-inch without the touch bar. But I could not bring myself to have to carry around one of those damn USB hubs. Those USB-C hubs.
They're
I could not bring myself. And so I stopped. I said, no, I'm going to keep trying to restore it from Time Machine. I finally found a point about a month back on Time Machine that I could restore to.
Okay.
And I restored it, and it's running now. So I saved myself in the short term quite a bit of money.
Okay.
But still, I'm actually thinking because you can order online still a 2015 MacBook Pro that has HDMI, Lightning, everything that I want. I'm thinking about doing it.
Don't do it. Don't you dare.
I'm going to. Try to stop me.
This guy.
All right.
This guy.
Okay. We have some fun stuff coming up.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about the Fidget Spinners.
Yes.
And
Cube.
And Cube. I have zero experience with these things.
Me either. These are sealed.
They're sealed.
We're
okay.
opening these for the first time.
All right. Stick around for that. Coming up on Geared Up. You're listening to GeekWire. Hey, if you're just joining us on one of the live streams, either YouTube Live or Facebook Live, this is a behind-the-scenes recording of our weekly show, Geared Up. It airs on Cairo Radio on 1 p.m. Sundays and 8 p.m. Saturdays, when not preempted by live sports. Also, you can find it at GeekWire. Just go to geekwire.com/gearedup. The thing to do, though, if you're not watching on YouTube, subscribe to Andrew's YouTube feed, and you'll get notifications if you sign up for him when we go live.
Well, if you tap the bell icon, you get a notification, which tap the bell icon.
And that is on youtube.com/gearlive.
That's right.
So there you go. All right, our final segment. This is going to be a fun one, so let's do it. Welcome back. You're listening to Geared Up on GeekWire. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
I appreciate you persevering. I know you're a little under the weather today, Andrew.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
All right. So
it's my job.
What's going on here with these spinners? I've heard that you cannot find these things anywhere.
You can't find them anywhere. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I mean, we're going to open these up and we're going to try them out.
What are they for people who've never heard of these? For the 3 or 4 people out there who've never heard of spinners?
Quite honestly,
fidget spinners.
I don't know. You spin it in your hands. Let's open this thing up.
Wow, look at that box.
Opening it up.
Nice.
Okay.
We are getting some good unboxing audio here.
So I don't play.
So what is the point? This is going to be a problem if you don't know what you're doing and I don't know what I'm doing, which, well, I guess that's no different.
Well, the idea behind this is, there's some nice ways to that. You hold the spinner and you spin it, right?
Yeah.
So now you hold this. Now all of your nervous energy is going into here. You're focusing on this. So you're a kid and you're like jumping all over the place. Who was the journalist that came in here earlier, Claire? Kurt came in here.
Kurt Schlosser, yeah.
And he was like, I have a 10-year-old, and he's all over the place. He's supposed to be doing homework. He's chasing the cat. He's going upstairs. He's going downstairs. He's jumping all over the place. He got one of these spinners. Then his kid did this, and he's chilling. He's not running all over the place anymore.
Can I try it?
Yeah. Put that in your fingers. Spin it around.
That does nothing for me.
So now you hold it, though. Now you hold it. Now you hold it. Now you just hold it. You can
hold it,
move it around, whatever. And now you're like, hey, I can concentrate. All my nervous energy is going into this, and now I can do my homework while I hold this.
Wow, really?
I guess. I guess.
So here's the Fidget Cube. Why don't you open
Now,
that?
the Fidget Cube was the first one. The Fidget Cube, both of these are from Antsy Labs, by the way.
Okay. So there's a little, I get it. So there's a little bit of momentum to it, obviously.
Out of here.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, I told you we should.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so that's the spinner, okay? Now, this is the Fidget Cube. The cube This was actually made for adults who are like executives and stuff. Who are like, you know what? I'm just hanging out. I need something to do. So it has like 6 sides.
It's like the obnoxious guy next to you in the cube who clicks his pen all day.
So it's got this ball. It has like a trackpad. It has the different buttons on one side. It has all these different things you can spin around. And it allows you to just like, I'm busy. I'm stressed out at work. I need to take my stress out on something. I've got this fidget cube. Claire's having a good time over there. You can't see her on camera, but Claire really likes that spinner.
This seems like I like the spinner better than the cube, personally.
You don't like the cube too much. I mean, the cube, you kind of find your 1 or 2 sides. You don't have to keep like spinning it all over the place. You just find one. You're like, oh, that's me. I like spinning this thing around, or I like I like the clicker, the up and down thing. I mean, people out there though, and we need to hear feedback from people on this. Email, what's the email address for this show?
tips@geekwire.com.
Tips@geekwire.com. Or drop comments on YouTube or Facebook. Have you experienced fidget spinners or fidget cubes? And if so, do you believe in their effects? Because, again, this is the first time we've used these things. We've only used them for about 30 seconds. So we're holding them
up to the mic. So
we're giving you guys sound effects. But I want to know if the people out there actually believe in these things. Well, your kids love these things. Like, they're everywhere. If you go to a middle school, your kids don't have these?
No, my daughter's only 6.
Okay, your daughter's 6. If your daughter were like 10, her and all her friends, they would just be talking about these nonstop. So, fidget cubes.
Fidget cubes. Okay. And where did you get this one?
AntsyLabs.com. In fact, this one is a classic Nintendo themed SNES, Super Nintendo themed one. I got this on Kickstarter. This Kickstarter was like a year ago, and all of a sudden, after the fidget cubes got popular, there's so many knockoffs now you can get super cheap from China. But the spinners took off way more than these, probably because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
But kids, these are all about the adults, but the kids really like these things. Like, you go to any school playground and they're just all over the place. Spinners. Kids are crying because they lost their spinner. It fell in the grass. They can't find it. Tears of sorrow because of their spinners being gone. But yeah, I want to know, have people been using these? If you're out there and you use them, let us know. Drop us an email.
Good. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to set up our Google Assistant to get us some food.
Set up the Google Assistant, get us some food. See if the assistant can also find us some spinners.
How much did they cost? Do you remember?
Well, I don't know about these exact ones, but you can get some of these spinners. Actually, Amazon had a gold box deal today where you can get fidget spinners for $5.
Okay.
So that's probably still live right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Until next time, I'm Todd Bishop.
Yeah, I'm Andru Edwards.
You're listening to Geared Up on GeekWire. Talk to you next time.